What's good, guys? This is the Wrong But Right podcast coming at you guys with another Raw recap. This one's from October 5th, 2015, live at Boston. So before we get into Raw, there's a couple of housekeeping topics we wanted to go over with you guys. First is the low ratings of Raw, and what do you think the implications of that have for the future of Raw?
Yeah, honestly, when I first heard about the low ratings, I was actually pretty surprised. I thought the WWE content lately has been pretty good, actually. And then I watched a couple YouTube videos of old school matches with like Edge and Randy Orton, and I'm like, yeah, I can kind of see it, but it's hard to really pinpoint why exactly that's going on right now.
Well, my thoughts were it's because John Cena is not the World Heavyweight Championship. He's not the championship holder right now. Okay. Oftentimes, there's a pattern here. Every time he's not the champ, the ratings dip below because a lot of the kids don't like to tune as much. But for more hardcore viewers, product is actually better. So what do you think about that?
I think, that does make sense. It does go into our next topic, and I want to maybe we'll transition to that because then it relates to what I'm about to say.
Okay, yeah. So the next topic will be allegedly John Cena has requested time off for personal reasons. Yeah. We don't know how long, but what do you think that means for the future of the company?
And do you even think that's 100% true? Do we know, or is it just is it speculation type of thing?
It's speculations, but it's more likely that it will happen than not.
Okay. Well, the thing is that I'm concerned about is that the ratings right now, if they're that low or lower than what I thought they were, I'm scared for the WWE because I think it's going to be even lower now that John Cena is on leave because they're as much as I hate the guy, he's so polarizing. The fans either love him or hate him, and as much as I hate, and I do hate to say it, he's actually good for ratings. I don't know. Even though he's so generic, I think he gets the ratings up.
I see your point, but I gotta disagree with you on this one. Okay. I feel like they're not seeing the whole picture of the company because not as many people tune into Raw live anymore. There's PVR and the WWE network has really taken off. Mm-hmm. So people might not watch Raw live; they might watch the network. And there's a lot of things competing with the time slot at the moment, like NFL, Monday Night Football.
That's true.
There's a lot of great TV shows on at that time segment too. And you know how people like things on demand, so they might not check out Raw live. Yeah. But as for Cena taking time off, I think for the more hardcore fans who don't like Cena, the product might be better because they can experiment with a lot of different things.
Yeah, they can go in a lot of different directions. My whole point was I wanted Cena to stop being so big and win championships just so that other people can have opportunities and they can go into a different direction. Maybe make someone who's a third tier guy right now, who has a lot of potential, maybe make him blow up. But they're not going to do that right now.
Yeah, but what I'm most scared of is that if Cena takes time off, it might be fool's gold, where they try a lot of things and the people who watch Raw might like those ideas or the direction they're headed in. But the second Cena comes back, where do you think he's going? Heavyweight championship title contention.
Yeah, he's gonna beat the first guy who he faces easily, and then it's he's back, he's better than ever type of thing.
Exactly. So
I hate it. Yeah.
Say he's gone
all
for
this
a
stuff
month,
is
right?
recycled. It's just
say he's gone for a month.
Yeah.
And then they build up some good storylines. It's all gonna get trashed. Mm-hmm. The second John Cena comes, it breaks the momentum.
I kind of like the way they're using him right now. They're not really shunning him out, but they're also not making him win the heavyweight championship.
Okay, I think that's enough about Cena for now.
Okay. All right.
Okay, we'll just move on to the last housekeeping topic, and that was the pay-per-view that was exclusive to the WWE network. I like to call it the pay-per-view junior because it wasn't a real pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Most of the matches were very unimportant, just thrown on there just because they kind of rushed this pay-per-view.
It was more like a live event, It's there's a live event with cameras basically.
All right, so we'll just jump into the two main events, I suppose. What were your thoughts on the John Cena versus Seth Rollins match?
Yeah, this one, what happened was I didn't watch it live at all. I actually read the results, and I was really upset when I saw the title. John Cena retains. That's how many times is he going to beat Seth Rollins, right? And then I finally saw it afterwards and saw exactly what happened. They actually made Seth Rollins look really good because they made him basically win the match. He was outside the ring, which made sense because he's supposed to be that athletic, type of guy. So escaping the cage is basically what he does. He escapes certain situations. And then he was about to win. Kane comes into play. I actually thought it was good that they made him seem like he was gonna win, and then of course, John Cena's got to get the W.
That's true. The result was super predictable.
The result was predictable, but the way they did it, I was surprised. Yeah, I was actually surprised.
The way they got to the match, like the result, was actually a really good match. And what I like is when these two guys wrestle, they actually try to pull out a couple of new moves here and there.
That's true. Seth Rollins is so talented, man. Like, wow. He does all these crazy moves and high-flying things.
I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about what WWE has, in store for him in the future in a little bit. Yeah. We'll just finish off with this little pay-per-view, Junior. We'll talk about the most predictable match. Big Show versus Lesnar.
Yeah.
So what were your thoughts?
Big Show versus Lesnar. It's funny because a couple of guys were talking to me. They were saying, how come you guys think Big Show's gonna win? Big Show's gonna lose, no matter what. Like, there's a chance. And I'm like, oh man, these guys just don't know what they're talking about. I think to me this was the most predictable thing in like all of main event matches. But I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Like, he just won. He just won.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even see the match. Yeah. I didn't read the results, but I already knew what happened.
You already know it. Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to.
Like, I don't even know what to say. Like,
sorry. We'll move on.
What do I need to say?
We'll move on to the actual Raw.
I'm not complaining.
It's all right.
Like, he won the match. Like, what?
He won the match. What happened? Whatever happened happens.
Okay.
So we're moving on to the actual Monday Night Raw. The Raw starts off with Paul Heyman coming out with the Beast Incarnate himself.
Yeah. This is on Raw. This was yesterday's Raw, right?
Yesterday's Raw. Yeah, that's right. So, what did you think about it? As ever, Paul Heyman gives a great promo.
It was a great promo. I had a little problem with it. This whole pay-per-view with Big Show, and then that little speech. He just basically they hyped up Big Show, and then after he beat him, then they immediately go to the next thing, which is the Hell in a Cell. They're calling it the trilogy against The Undertaker. They basically just hyped up Big Show for no reason. Then immediately he's gone. It doesn't even matter. He did end up showing up to the ring, which just
it's a pretty generic promo, pretty good because Paul Heyman's just that good. But what I didn't like was it just undermined the whole thing they built up the day before for the pay-per-view. All it took was one belly-to-belly German suplex into an F5. He destroys Big Show live, and then it's like, what was the match for?
That was basically the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, but what's the point? If it takes two moves and the match is that easy, why would we tune into this pay-per-view?
That belly-to-belly is impressive. Like, that was pretty insane. But no, like that promo, I would say is very like under par for a opening of Raw. Like last week's was way better when it was John Cena versus Xavier Woods for the U.S. title.
But this one is more for the promotional aspect, right?
Yeah.
Because Undertaker's doing zero promo for this.
I think
Hell in Cell.
I think everybody's sick of seeing Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, nobody cares about the trilogy, but
the only trilogy I care about is like the Lord of the Rings. Like, honestly, I don't like to call it. I don't know what they're calling it that. Okay, well, what's the next topic?
It's alright. We'll move on to the next topic. We'll quickly gloss over the 6-man tag team Reigns versus the Wyatt family for the 900th time.
Oh, dude, I honestly don't even care. Like, I have nothing to say about this. They made Roman Reigns win, probably because they had that little cancer thing at the end, like later on in the day. But we'll get to that.
Yeah, they always just make Reigns get the one up. Randy Orton does all the work, RKOs, and he immediately tags in.
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with him, but I have no more to say about this. It's the same thing every week.
I thought it was supposed to be over that other week.
Yeah, exactly. But no, it's not even
close. The other Raw, he said he was going to end it. They're all like, yeah, he ended it. Anyways, the 6-man tag match with the same guys.
It's just stupid.
What's worse is they had to drag Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton, two pretty good stars, into this never-ending loop.
Yeah, and Randy Orton
is stuck in limbo, 1 week they do it, the other week.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Alright, we'll move right on to another segment of Raw. What we found interesting, maybe the Kane versus Seth, the whole spiel, the tag match to the promos.
Oh, yeah. I thought this was kind of cool, actually. Because my whole prediction this whole time was that Seth is going to verse Kane for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. That was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ever since that pay-per-view. And I'm glad that they're going to probably get rid of Corporate Kane. I think what's going to happen is this is the perfect way to do it, actually. So they're going to make Corporate Kane fired because Kane is going to lose against Seth Rollins in the championship match. Whether Seth beats him clean or somebody interrupts and helps him who doesn't like Kane, like maybe the Dudley Boys.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to come because, fought them at SmackDown or something.
Yeah.
But, you know, so maybe something like that.
I thought the best part of this segment was when Stephanie McMahon came. Because my favorite part of the entire Raw was when Seth Rollins came and he dropped the deflate line.
Oh, yeah.
That was the best part of Raw.
That was
she
a
comes
really good
back.
line.
I didn't know she was a Patriots fan. And she hypes up the crowd because it's in Boston, how they're going to win another Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah. That was actually... I completely forgot about that one. Very entertaining.
That was very entertaining. And then I didn't understand the part at the end of the Dudley Boys match where the Demon King comes out.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins has a chance to escape because that's his character.
Yeah.
Then he goes back and sets up a table.
Yeah.
He would never. It's going against his character. He would have just ran and.
That's true. But the funniest part was JBL's commentary when he was saying, like, he has a chance to finish Demon Kane off. You know, you got to take that chance. You don't want to be facing him at the next pay-per-view for the championship. If you have a chance right now, just finish him. That's so funny. JBL is such a character.
Another thing I noticed that I thought was hilarious is the ongoing joke how every time Seth goes onto the mic, he's saying how cheaters like you will never prosper. They never get to, they'll never win. And it's always a reflection of himself. It's just so aware and clever.
Yeah. It actually is.
But all in all, how excited are you for this little feud that they're trying to hype up? Demon Kane versus Seth.
In terms of that feud, I'm not that excited or like anticipating it at all. To be honest,
who would you rather have in the championship race right now instead of Demon Kane?
Honestly, if you somebody completely unexpected. You know, someone like, for example, like Kevin Owens. Even like obviously right now he can't because he has the Intercontinental Championship, but someone like him to just come out of nowhere and make like a big thing, even if it's like Roman Reigns. No, seriously.
I don't know about that.
No, like even
we've seen that before.
Yeah, even if they make Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, I think that'll be more entertaining than Kane.
Here's my idea, though.
Because he's the up and coming guy, but then I don't want him to win.
Here's my idea, though. You know how the New Day is doing? They're chasing after the U.S. Championship.
Okay.
Why not the Heavyweight Championship? It's so entertaining. Just raise the stakes. But
that's true.
We'll get into that a little bit later because the New Day got a huge push at the main event, but we'll go over that a little bit later.
Oh yeah, what's next on the agenda?
Just before that, let's talk about any of the Divas action, the Divas Revolution, if you will.
Yeah, I think it's lame. I think every week it's just getting really boring. Paige lost to Natalia. I don't understand why. That makes no sense to me. She should have won.
I think it's just to get her a little bit over because they keep bringing her.
But I mean, she's old and has been doing this. I don't know. Like,
I think they're just trying to.
But she hasn't
increase the roster.
She hasn't been on Raw in the last 6 months. How is she in top shape to beat the number one diva who's been on top for the last 2 years?
Yeah, that actually doesn't make any sense.
And then the 6 tag match or whatever. Like, what is going on? It's the same thing every week.
However, they said the word Divas Revolution way less. Which leads me to believe that WWE heads are listening to this podcast.
They're listening to the WBR podcast.
Taking our suggestions.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is the hottest podcast out right now. Like, what's First Take? I don't even know.
First what?
Well, you guys heard about that?
Never heard of that.
Yeah.
But another thing I noticed for the Divas, though, is they like to use grappling and submissions a lot. I feel like they should incorporate that to regular matches. Because remember back in the day, people are known for the submissions, and it would lead to more unique endings. Like when Kurt Angle, he wants to get on the ankle lock, or even the crippler crossface, even though he shouldn't be mentioned.
Yeah, R.I.P.
But they do a lot, such as the bank statement, and they all have a unique submission move. I feel like they should really incorporate that aspect to the men's division. There's only a few people who have submissions, and nobody ever taps out.
Yeah, and I don't know what they're doing with that. Like, they're focusing way less on the wrestling. I like a lot of promos and stuff, but it's good to have that type of thing. And I guess we're getting in the Divas division, so we'll see what happens.
That's true. Let's quickly gloss over the funniest part of Raw, the Bulgarian Brute, and he gets proposed to. Segment. That was pretty funny. Yeah,
that was really funny. It showed the reversal of the gender roles or whatever. He's just the alpha, you know.
It's 2015 though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but it's just he's so alpha, you know. You know that commercial where it's the Dos Equis? Yeah. It's the most interesting man in the world. That's the guy. I in the commercial, I can imagine like, you know,
women
proposed to him. Yeah, that type of thing. And I'm just like, whoa, this is the most interesting man in the world. He's so alpha.
It's funny, but I think he has a better role, if anything, if I were to book him. Like, just make him a more dominant big guy.
I would do that too.
All this love triangle stuff. But
I definitely would do that too. I don't like where that's going. I actually didn't, like, it was entertaining, it was funny, but I didn't like the segment.
Let's just move on to, I guess, the main event of this Raw, because, man, I gotta say, there was a lot of uneventful things that happened this Raw. It felt like a really long 3 hours compared to the Raw last week.
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're running out of material. They gotta change.
Imagine John Cena's not even there, and then it's like, how little talent do you really have?
Yeah, 3 hours time slot is a really tough tough thing to fill out. But let's move on. So it is the U.S. Open to close off the main event.
Yeah.
John Cena comes into the ring. He does the usual. The champ is here. Blah blah blah.
Whatever, all that.
Mind you, he's not the champ. He's the United States champ.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah.
So Dolph Ziggler's music hits. There's a huge delay, and guess who comes out?
Okay, my boys,
the New Day.
I thought that was really awesome, especially that first part where they were like dragging his carcass towards the ring, and then they made Big E fight John Cena. I think that was the way to make them like look especially good, because he's the best. You know, he's supposed to be the leader, the strongest guy out of all of them, and making him versus John Cena, especially in the main event, was actually a really good idea. Because if they made Kofi Kingston, or even Xavier Woods.
Well, Xavier Woods had a shot.
He did it last week, but that was the beginning of Raw. To make it a main event, to really, really push them, I think it was perfect to make Big E do that. And you know how at the end of the match, what's his name? The Dudleys came out.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler even came out. But they made the New Day stand tall and like beat all of them.
I thought the New Day looked great this week though, because they even gave Kofi some mic time while they're walking down the stage. Because he usually doesn't cut much promos. He's just there.
Oh, actually, that was a really entertaining one.
They're listening to the podcast. We said that last weekend. Yep. What happens next week? He gets a little promo. They use anything that has the word big all the way down to the stage. I thought that was a pretty good promo.
That was actually really good.
And they made Big E look like such a good wrestler in ring though. He's dominating John Cena, and then
he loses clean.
He loses clean.
Because everyone expects that. Yeah. It's especially because they're in John Cena's hometown. There's no way in hell he's gonna lose. Even more so than normally. Even if he's fighting on the moon, he'll still win. But
it's true. But then they made him look really good during the match. Then they come beat him up. Then Dolph Ziggler comes. Dolph Ziggler has some of the best.
Yeah.
He's the best on the roster to act as if he's hurt, because he does it every other Raw.
Yeah,
he
just
gets beat up and he comes. And
at this point, I really don't know if he's actually just faking it or he's actually hurt. I don't even know anymore.
And then the Dudleys came in and they just made the New Day look awesome. Made them look great. So, but what do you think what do you think the future for the New Day is then? Are they going to stay in the tag division or?
I think the potential for them, just because of that one event, Raw has increased. So
they are full on heels now. But if you notice at the end, the crowd is cheering New Day rocks because they love them.
That's what they were saying?
That's what they're saying.
Oh, man. But no, one thing I want to touch up on is, you know how at the end of a Raw, usually in the main event, they'll always cut off with the good guy winning or being on top and the crowd cheering most of the time. Not always, of course. But, this one, I liked how the New Day was standing tall and the crowd loved it. Everybody loved it. Usually it'll be John Cena in the 6-man tag match with Randy Orton. They all do their special moves, RKO and all that. Then it's okay. The Raw is over.
It's a new era now. Yeah, it's not as black and white as before, where there's the heel and the baby face.
That's true.
You want to cheer for the baby face.
The anti-heel.
Yeah, there's anti-heroes now.
Anti-hero, yeah.
There's anti-heroes now. People want to cheer for the bad guys because the overall.
That's the Attitude Era.
The overall crowd of WWE. Yeah. The WWE universe. They're not stupid. Mm-hmm. They know what they want to cheer for, and the WWE has to realize that. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just close off this pod with our final thoughts about the entire Raw itself. If you were to give it a rating out of 10, what would you give the entire Raw?
The entire Raw, I'm gonna be honest. I thought this one was a really below par Raw. As much as I loved the main event, the New Day, and everything.
Yeah.
And actually, one more thing is the Boston crowd was actually really good. They were so entertaining. They were yelling and everything, right? But regardless, I think I'm gonna give this one I'm gonna give it a 5.7.
5.1.
I'm gonna give this one a 5.7 because
a marginal pass.
Because there was barely any real events.
Yeah, nothing really happened.
Nothing really went forward for the progression. I thought you got the Kane pay-per-view event with Seth Rollins for the championship.
Yep.
I just don't see it.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't entertained, especially the second hour of Raw. If I were to rate it, I'll give it a 4.5. Not even a pass.
Really? You would not even a pass?
Not even a pass. 4.5. Pretty boring Raw.
Oh, actually, one more thing. Imagine it wasn't in Boston. Imagine it was like one of the more regular sports cities.
Yeah.
That would have been the most boring Raw.
It would have been the most quiet crowd. John Cena might have lost because it wasn't... Okay, never mind. No, he wouldn't have lost.
No.
Okay, well, what would you rate the final segment, though, with the New Day?
I thought the final segment was a lot better than the rest of the Raw.
Yeah.
Because, here's the thing. Because we were rating the whole thing, there was, to me, there wasn't really any events until the main event.
Yep.
And there's 3 hours. So, basically, I thought the last part, I'm going to give that an 8.5.
8.5? I'll give it an 8.
Considering an 8.5 for 3 hours long,
Well, I'll
5.7. That's my
I'll give it an 8, and the overall Raw was a 4.5. So think about it, right?
That's crazy.
Okay. Last point. If you could change one thing about this Monday Night Raw, what would it be? Any results? Any different bookings?
Before I get to that, one thing that I would like to change, but it's not my actual answer, is that it was the whole breast cancer Susan G. Komen thing going on.
Yep.
But one thing that really bugs me is that they make the bad guys as well as the good guys wear the breast cancer shirts, Rise Above Cancer.
Yep.
It's of course it's good, it's a good cause, but it just makes no sense when the bad guy, Seth Rollins, he's a slimy guy, is wearing that. And then he's saying his typical slimy stuff.
I think
I don't like that. In the first segment, Brock Lesnar, he wasn't wearing it.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar's kind of an anomaly, but the whole point is because it's breast cancer, it supersedes the story. They just really want to market it as much as possible. So
of course.
Obviously,
I get that.
You need guys like Seth Rollins to wear the T-shirt because he's one of the biggest stars.
I do get that, of course, but the bad guys, it just looks funny to me. Brock Lesnar, imagine he wore that at the beginning. I think people would have made a big deal out of it. It's what is this? Just because he's the most alpha of everybody in WWE right now. So I thought that was one thing I thought was weird, but to answer,
it's for the good cause. So you gotta let those slide once in a while.
Yeah, to answer your question though, what would I have changed? I think the entire beginning was awful. Usually the beginning of Raw I'm the most excited for because they usually have a long, entertaining segment. This one I thought it was boring. He came out, Paul Heyman is, he does his thing, whatever. Big Show comes, completely wrecks, with a whole pay-per-view, or the live at Madison Square Garden the night before. So I would have changed that, make it something else. Make it Brock Lesnar versus Big Show rematch.
Okay.
That would have been super awesome.
That's true.
Even if Brock Lesnar beat him clean, whatever.
I would probably change, if I were to change anything, it was things are so forgettable this Raw. The Sheamus Neville portion we didn't even talk about. You didn't even remember about it, right? Know. But then Sheamus is Mr. Money in the Bank. Do you remember when Seth was Money in the Bank? He was headlining things every week.
That's true.
There's no spot for Sheamus. So maybe it's not a Raw specific thing, but I would like to see Sheamus in more of my Raws because I want to know what Mr. Money in the Bank is up to. Yeah,
make him just appear randomly in the bigger cards. Make him come at the end when
he literally got a 2-minute spot in a Raw and he's supposed to be billed as the next champ or the next potential champ.
Yeah, that's true because when Seth Rollins was the Money in the Bank winner, everybody knew. Everybody knew he was because no one right now who if you ask half the people, no, I think they won't even know. So that's a good point. I have to agree with that.
Yep. Well, it is what it is. This is the Wrong But Right podcast signing off. Catch